All right, good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Ah, another Saturday. Oh, there's our firework.
Yeah. So, it's kind of funny. So I started up Pretzel, and as
Mhm.
we're going right now, like you can't hear Pete. It's like, but it's actually like arcade like sounds being used to make music. So it's like a bunch of like the old 8-bit sound and stuff like that, and there's definitely like different riffs from different games. It's kind of neat.
That is pretty cool. Should find out what that particular like track is. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, favorite it or something.
It's called Vindicate Me by Big Giant Circles.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. That's the that's the name.
Get the little thumbs up or whatever they got, I guess.
Yeah, do they? Oh, they do have a thumbs up there. Good, did it. Yeah, it was neat. So we were, we still are. We're still working on our adventure clone. This is, it's coming along. No, so your graphic just switched on the stream,
Oh,
so now it's
look.
it's really small, and you're
I
like now
see it.
floating.
Yeah, I'm floating out there in the. I look like a sprite. I'm in the sprite box.
Yeah, right. You are a sprite. I don't know what that's all about. Let's try. Nope,
Doing my
nothing.
animation.
Doing the anime. At some point, you'll get bigger and you'll fit back into that spot. We got to get OBS set up. That's what that comes down
Yep.
to. But yeah, so we're working on adventure. We got to the point where we had the castle. We had the different pieces. Um,
Yeah, we got the gate to open too with the key even.
yeah, so like right now the gate's blocking. I can go and pick up the key, and then I can go through. I should. I wonder if I could put something up there. That'd be kind of neat. Yeah.
What's that?
So what's that?
What do you mean? Put it up where?
So right now there's nowhere to go. Like it just stops. Right.
Yeah. Well, we
So
need a room up there, right? Because does isn't there usually like a treasure room up there?
yeah, well, that's because you can get the sword is up in that room, right? So let's add the room to it. And so we got our walls here. We got to see what that room number is. That's what I can't remember because it was this one that's in that top area, right here. Let me. Yeah. So ours
So,
is a little bit different. The big difference for us is going to be that instead of it going as soon as you touch the gate, you move up.
huh?
Ours, you go through the thing and you walk up to the top.
No,
Go to the
it
next
doesn't
level.
have to be different.
It does because we have no way of identifying when you hit this spot compared to this spot.
Oh, you can touch that middle piece because we just left the
But
touching off. It doesn't mean it couldn't do something else. Just saying, we don't have to do that, but we
well,
could.
here's the problem: is that we have to define it in the map, and we can't define that in the map at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So like right now, all we're doing is we're doing the adventure. Let me switch to it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right. So in here, all we're doing is checking which position it hit to know which room to go to. So we would
Mm.
have to have something that defines where the gate is, like where the touching point is for it to switch.
But
That's
then
not the
how are
sides.
we not walking through the castle part
We
if we're
are
doing
walking through the
sprite
castle.
detection? No, on the sides, the other sprites on the sides, the side pieces, castle left and castle right.
Yes. So that's this touching here that just checks for the movement. But we don't have any portal we wouldn't be able to put a portal in this spot. Right now all our portals are around the edges. And we block them from getting to it by having the borders. Right? So we could do it. It's just we have to add a whole bunch of stuff that talks about where the portals are on the screen, which may be a different way of doing it, right? We just did it where we said we're going to make this generic because it's only the sides that matter for switching. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference in the gameplay. It's just you have to walk further to get to the next room. Not that good. It's funny how loud the music just got. Well, maybe it's not that loud. Maybe it's just loud in my headphones. I'm looking at the meters and it's not there, but no, I'll just try to ignore it. Yeah, so this room here is this one here, right? So that's 0.
Mm-hmm.
And up right now doesn't go anywhere. So we need to add 1. So let's duplicate this. I'm debating on whether I want to move all this stuff around or just leave it. Just make this 5. And so in here, this was costume 1. So we want that to be room type 1. This is good. Top in that room will be -1. Right will be -1 because nothing. Down will go back to 0, and this would be -1.
So we can go through the top. No, not on that room. Just down, just out. Okay.
Yeah, just down. And then this one we need to make it so now that it'll go to room 5. Right. So this is the room ID, the costume, and then up, right, down, left. Right. So it goes clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
So that should make it. Oh, it did it. It just the castle. We don't have anything that
It's
defines.
still there. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything that defines where the castle is, and that's
Right,
where the
so-
real problem comes in.
And that's we were kind of talking about doing that, like sort of like with the key, right, where you tell it what room it's in. Is that what
Yeah,
you're thinking?
I think that's what we're thinking.
Or what
Do we-
rooms it's in technically? Because there's more than one castle. I don't know if we're going to do separate sprite sets for each one, or if we're just going to use the same ones. Seems like we could use the same ones and give it a list of rooms it's in.
We could, but we need to then have the color and then the key. So there's some other stuff in there.
Doesn't change the way we do it though.
No. Maybe yeah, so maybe we'll just go into here. We'll just do it when it'll get the broadcast message. Here. Let's try to find the thing, right? So I want to say when we receive changing rooms. And right now, let's for right now just do a simple if in here. We'll just say if the room is equal to 0.
Right, because we have just the one room, so we don't need
Yeah.
to do anything special. What are you trying to do, man? Need to equal.
Yeah, where?
It's right there. There's 3 pointers.
Oh,
It's less
yeah,
than
jeez.
equal. Yeah. I need like a little pointer. I wish I could point on your screen.
Yeah,
When
Skype
you're-
doesn't have that, does it?
No. When you're the one
Um,
not driving, it's so much easier to see everything.
Yeah, well, you know what it is too is that because you use the variables so much with operators, it feels like the operator should be part of the variables. So having to keep switching tabs like always makes me like, wait, where am I supposed to be at?
Yeah. I think I probably have like a few hours of scratching and snapping on you too. So I think I know where everything is.
Well, that's true too. You know what? This should probably have been an if else. Because what I just realized is I needed a way to turn it off, right? So I want to say if its room number is equal to 0, then we're going to show.
Mhm.
Else we're going to hide it. So I
You should be able to
think,
just drop that right on the other two.
yeah, that's what I'm.
And really, it should just work. I don't think you need to mess with it.
Yeah, the only thing that I was thinking about is that probably would be good to have something. I guess we won't do that just yet because you'll always start in room 0 for right now. Yeah, so now I should be able to.
Alright. And that stays open, so that's good.
Yeah. Very cool.
You know, it does kind of. It's funny because I'm like, yeah, it does look like you're going through a gate instead of into the castle when you pass through. But it's all right. I think I can work that out. I have in my head how that could work. Kind of unobtrusively.
What do you mean?
The way that it, like, you kind of disappeared when you went through the gate in the actual adventure game clone that we were looking at.
Oh, instead of going up to the top.
instead of passing through. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can. We just have to have a lot more variables that we have to add into the map to be able to define it differently per room.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Only thing I was going to try to do here is I wanted to. This should go underneath.
Yeah, but there's like a Z index kind of a idea in looks, I think.
Oh, it's in looks. Okay.
It's not a Z index though. It's a layer. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have that. So we're gonna say go to layer. Yes. Let's see if that works. That's more what I was looking for.
Right. Yeah.
Because technically we actually wanted to eventually animate up, right? Because that's kind of like what it was doing.
Yeah, like a tick, tick, tick up. Because,
yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways you could do that. You can make it slide and just change slowly through a loop, or we could have it cycle through some costumes.
What if we just use it? What if we just use a glide?
Yeah, that will work too. Glide to that position.
Yeah, can you glide on just one variable? But no.
No, you have to give it the final position, but that's okay. You know what it is.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out like. So I want to do this.
There you go. Yeah, that should do it.
That should do it. Oh.
Yep. It did it, didn't it?
It did.
But by itself. Okay.
That was weird.
Maybe because that variable gate open didn't get reset. Because it has that if and not gate open.
Yeah. But it's set here.
Yeah, but it is set right at the, I don't know. It worked though.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, it looked pretty good even.
I know, I was like, I wasn't sure whether 1 second would be good enough, but it seemed pretty decent. All right. So, it just did it. So what caused that?
Oh, it did it again? By itself? But now it's not. So now it's open. Oh, that did it.
Yeah, so it's almost like the key didn't move fast enough. So I left it under the gate, right? So let me try something. I'm going to open it and move the key and put it someplace else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, so that worked. But then if I open it and I leave the key there, it's like it doesn't reset at the same speed. Maybe I need to.
Maybe we're just doing it out of order.
Let me try that there, so that I moved it so that the key position gets moved right away. Nope.
Nope, still not fast enough.
I think it's just.
So there is a concept of creating like a wait kind of a situation, so that it fires the scripts inside and then does the next thing. I don't know the specifics on it, but if you wanted to get involved in something like that, that seems like that would solve the problem, right?
I think so. Yeah. Well, you know what I could do? We could just add a wait on here.
That's true. I mean, that's kind of the hacky way, right? But
when we don't have real control over the loops, I don't know what. I'll just do it even just that. Let's see if that does enough for it. Yeah. Yeah, and I think 0.2 seconds is.
Yeah, you see it though. It did take a second to like blink in the. reset mode.
I know. That's why I was. Well, you know what? Hopefully we'll get to a point where we'll actually have a front screen that you come to first, right? And you can hit play, and then that'll reset it. So, all right. So what do we have? We still have the sword
Mhm.
and the
We have a sword and a dragon that we
and
have
the
to do.
dragon that we need
And
to
the
do.
dragon has a little bit of AI because he needs to kind of follow the player.
Right. It needs to try to come after the player, right?
Right.
So let's cancel that. Let me add in the sprint. Well, sprite. The sprint. That's what I say all day at work, right? Sword. We'll add the sword. Let me import my sword. This should be yellow, actually. I wonder if I can.
Well, you had it red because you were trying to, you made it like everything else, but it should
Yeah.
be yellow always, right?
Yeah, I think it is yellow always. We could just do the looks on here, right? So we can just make it so that when it starts, we can just set the looks for the color. All right, set color effect. What was it? It's close. Wait a minute, did we have a variable for it?
Um,
Color gold.
yes, yes, we do. That's right. We set it specifically for the colors, and that has the. There
Good.
you go. All right, that'll work.
Yeah, now the only thing about it, it's a little skinny compared to the key. Like the key and this are completely different.
Why don't you scale it up a little? Like even programmatically, you can do it just on the flag
Yeah.
if you want.
I want to try something. I want to see. Yeah, I guess. I could do that. I feel like it's almost going to be too long then if I try to make it. That's what I was a little concerned about. But let's see. Say
Mm,
it looks.
I see what you.
Hey, there's a
Yeah.
fireworks show. Um, where's the? I'm assuming it's in here. Change size by. Set size to. Say
Yeah.
120.
If you just click it, you can kind of see just the even just the block itself. You can detach it and click it.
There we go. Well, but I know as I
Yeah,
click on this, it changes it. So
that's a good size.
yeah. All right. Good. So now we have that. Now we have to. So the thing with the sword too is we have to. It's going to work similar to the key, right?
Hmm. You almost can probably drop that code on there and just tweak it a little because it's basically the same.
Yeah.
So you want it to stick to the adventurer. We want it to stay in the rooms where we put it. So the
We'll just have to create these additional
right, so it has to become like key room number, I guess. No,
well, there's current room number, right? So these are to the sprite.
right. Oh, and the room number's local, so that'll be cool. So that'll have
Yeah.
its own copy of that.
Do I need to create them first before I copy the blocks over, or can I create them after I?
I don't understand the question.
So I'm going to copy this block over to the sword.
Yeah, you can just drag it and plop it when it goes on there, and then it'll snap back. But it should
Yeah.
be on the sword now.
Yeah. So that's fine. The question
There it is.
I was asking is, do I need to create the variables before I do that?
No, it'll bring them over. They just won't work. Like if you try to run it, it would actually error. You get like that red highlighting around your blocks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured it'd be something like that. So now we'll have our room. Was the other one was diff x. Oops. And diff y.
Probably just stick that inside the other. Yeah. You know, I don't know why I'm telling you about that.
Yeah, it's just trying to get that all set up. And then we'll need those. Put this back in there. I feel like I'm missing a variable. Which one am I
It'll tell
missing?
you.
Oh, is held.
Is held. Because we
Yep.
need to set its behavior.
Yeah, so I don't need CVs right now. So that, and I need to give this a different position.
That started in a whole different like room too, right? Like,
Yeah, it did. Oh, and you know what? And it started right about there.
yeah, in a different room, but yeah, like kind of hanging out there.
Yeah. So negative 127, negative 70. So yeah, so it's about the same spot. And then what I want to do is the current room number should be 1. Actually, we should start this off as not shown.
Yeah, because we'll show it when you get to the room.
Yeah. All right.
And then
So.
which room does it start in? You have it just starting in the main room right now?
Oh, you know what? No. It should actually be in that new room that we just created, which
Yeah.
was what, room 5?
5? Yeah, I think it was 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
So that's the one that's behind the castle.
Yeah.
Should be in the castle. It's the one that's in the castle.
All right. So should be able to open the gate.
Enter the room. There's the sword. Drop that. Pick that up. Run out. Oh, baby. Let's go find a dragon.
No dragon. Come on, die.
No treasure either.
There was.
Actually, there's just the one treasure, huh? It's just the grail.
Yeah, it is right because that's the thing that you're trying to do is you're trying to return the Grail.
Yeah, to like the gold castle, I think. And yeah, that's why you have to keep dropping it to move like the bridge on the maze or to pick up the sword and fight a dragon. So you have to, yeah. And then the bat can take it.
So now I forgot. What... Oh, it was the black key was in here. That's right. And that was the key for the
first castle.
Yeah. Whoa. All right, cool. So now we need to add a dragon. I guess I should stop. Oh, I forgot Snap takes a while to come back once I switch screens. Do we do the dragons as?
Well, we're gonna do them as probably graphics, right? Like do them as a sprite, and then they have different colors.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should, because the colors don't matter too much. I think it changes their behaviors a little bit different between the dragons.
That seems to be part of my memory of it.
Yeah, let me see. Let's import. All right, so got our dragon. Seems to need a color change and maybe a little boost in size.
So you're going to start them red so that the same. We use the same color keys.
Was that first one red? Well, you know, you don't have to. They don't have to be the same color for that color thing, which I've realized.
Oh, it doesn't work off the base color. It's just a range of colors.
It seems that way.
Oh, well, that's even better then. Okay, never mind. Then that's what I was talking about, and I'm wrong.
Yeah, I thought so. So the reason that I thought that is that when you do tints in other things, I think it's based off of that base color. So you have to, so it scales from that. So to have a consistent value for changing of a color, you need to have that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was working off of as well, like the way things usually work, right?
Yeah, but I noticed when I changed it, right? So if I go, watch, so if I change this to color and I put the
gold.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it does need to be red.
How about that?
I was pretty sure when I did it before that it was. Oh wait a minute, that's a change effect by. That's why.
Not 2. Yeah, you need to set 2. That makes more
It
sense.
still didn't work.
It just went back to the old blue. Oh.
That's more like the color.
Of the dragon that you're trying, like the one you're trying to get to.
Yeah, it's weird that the color. So it is based on that. I could have sworn when I was doing something else that it didn't happen. Huh, that's surprising. I think 125's.
Pretty.
122? Nope. 127?
What's he supposed to be?
I don't know. I thought he was supposed to be yellow.
I kind of forget.
Nope.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, he was green.
It's a green dragon. And there's another one out the other way, right? Or it's the same one.
Oh,
that's
no.
the main. This is weird.
He was here a second ago. He was the. I think he was the yellow one. Let me restart the game here. Yeah, so that one was yellow. Okay.
Okay.
So I can. The first one was red, right? So we had the red dragon. I'm gonna set this aside because I'm gonna.
So interesting thing, since the corpses kind of lay around, do we want to have individual dragons or at least clones?
I was thinking clones.
Okay.
I was thinking doing a clone initially, but I was gonna just let's get one dragon working and then we can figure out to get the clone in there.
Well, the reason why my mind's going that way is I wonder if you should just set that dragon to that same base red so we can use our defined palette once we get it in place. That's all. That's why I was thinking about it actually.
Yeah.
Because that would be different. Like if they're clones, it's cool, but if we keep trying to do the same one, it'll change the corpse technically.
I gotcha. Can clones receive messages?
They do receive messages. There's that one I receive.
Right.
It's the same one as the rest of them, but they receive the messages just like anybody else would.
But how do you know which clone you're dealing with?
Well, they would all receive the message, but you could set like script level or like local clone level variables in Snap. So you could ID it in some manner if you wanted to, or.
I gotcha. So we would actually, so you would have to kind of go through each of the clones inside of here.
Yeah, you probably or keep a list somewhere of clones to know. Right? Like I don't know. There's
Okay.
different strategies you could use, but that's how it would work. Or I mean, there's only so many dragons. We could just have like 3 or 4 dragon sprites.
It's now that we have to add all those touches to everything.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to avoid.
But you could also just yeah. You could put the yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I think now here, so we'll
I think if you could put the touch on the clone.
Yeah, I was gonna do it without a clone first. and see what we can
It's
can
easy.
do.
It's easy enough to kind of work
Yeah.
that back.
So we have our.
Sort of like one of the nice things about the blocks, right? You can kind of just pull the whole bunch of code off and stick it somewhere else.
Good thing you can copy and paste. Trying to think. We need to have. So this is actually going to start off as hidden,
Mhm.
right? And we're going to want to show it on a room change.
All right, so you're going to want to listen for that. And then it's sort of going to behave like the key in the sword, right?
Yeah, I guess it would.
Like knowing what room it's in.
I can't remember if the red dragon actually follows you. I feel like there's one of them that can't leave the room.
Yeah, well, the nasty one is the one that chases you. And I feel like there's a distance calculation for that too, but I'm not sure. So the green one does not.
The green one always resets.
Yeah, right to that same spot. He guards the key, apparently.
Ah, see, there was a yellow one in here a second ago. What the heck?
This is going to be fun.
So I actually found something that has a definition on how the maze rooms are defined.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
So it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so I want to put this on the dragon. The difference for the dragon is I've got the wrong color because I wanted this to be, it needs to be the green one. Whoa. Oh, I have hidden on there. I was like,
You still have it on there. Yeah, it's close.
yeah. All right, cool. So we have that. Yeah, so then I just need to set what the current room number is for this. All right, and then we're going to set the... What is that room number?
Yes, I don't know. The one where he is.
Yeah, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3. Which should probably make an actual file that has a map and it shows all this stuff in there. I may have to do that as a side project to kind of get
Right.
this.
To help us think about it.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, right now it's okay, but we're gonna have a bunch more rooms eventually. Room
Create
3.
a level editor for a game.
Yeah, in Snap.
It's Snap. Hey man, you can save a file.
Let's just make sure he's showing up in there. Oh, is held. That's right. So we don't need that.
Yeah, that part is. We're gonna have a whole different follow algorithm.
All right, he's there. And if I leave, good. So we've got that. It's interesting because so here's the thing that I was thinking about with this is that the green one resets back to the same spot every time.
Right. So he needs like a reset method.
Yeah, so he's gonna be here, and he is gonna need a reset method.
So is that's gonna fire with the change room, right?
It will. All right, so this will be -7. This will be a 5. So here's the. I think this actually is going to now need an if else. So what we had done here before was we were always hiding it unless it was this. But I think now what we need is we actually need to do like that, and and then put this as a hide, and then add this in here. So in this case, when it comes in, it'll say, is it the room? If so, then show it. Otherwise, hide it and put it back to the spot that it started from. What's up?
Nothing. I'm looking at it.
It's funny because it looks like you look up. I guess the camera's lower, so
yeah,
it's like
the
when
camera's down here.
Yeah.
So,
That's why
the big, yeah, because I got my laptop. It's only a 15-inch screen. That's where the camera is, and then I got the bigger screen up top.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I can see the code. So now I'm looking at it, and it's just funny. I would have chose to move it when I hide it. I mean, when I show it, I would have moved it and then shown it. But it's 6 of 1.
Yeah. I mean, that might make it easier because we don't have to have it in.
Well, setting it when you leave is just it's 6. That's what I said. It's kind of 6 of 1. It doesn't really matter. It's just the style difference as well. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that does work.
Yeah. Well, you know what the benefit of doing it in here though is we only have it in one spot. So if we want to change where that location is, we only have to change it in one spot versus in two. So that may actually be better.
Oh, look at me.
We should get you a bunch of corgis. There you
know
go.
what I should do? Yeah. There you go.
So.
Yeah. Oh, look! I even gave it to me behind me.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. So now the question becomes: is we wanted to do the chase. I'm trying.
So what you want to do is you want to point toward the player and then move a set of steps and then wait like a beat.
Right. So I need a forever loop.
Mm-hmm. Or at least while. You might want to do like an until so that you can stop it when you leave the room. So it doesn't like wig out. There's a repeat until.
That's what I was looking for. So then we could kind of do something like this.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait a second. This is repeat until.
So you might need to knot it.
Yeah. No. So the only problem with this. So we have a problem, right? So if we do this knot, where does this go? I guess we could do it in here.
Right. Right. And then you really don't need the knot, which is weird.
Well,
how? Because that's gonna.
Yeah. So this will cause us a weird issue. So if we put it here, this would blow right through it right at the beginning because it wouldn't be equal to it, and so this execution would be done.
Right. So maybe do you need to turn a switch on when we actually come into there and use a variable?
I think if we do this and then this. So then only while it's equal.
The follow logic. Let's see. That might work. That might work.
It's not great. So it's interesting because we don't want to do point towards because it'll rotate the dragon.
It will rotate the dragon. So that is a sort of difficulty. And he does face you, right? Or does he just always face left? He always faces left.
Yeah, this was.
Yeah.
This is 1970.
9,
right? Is it? Yeah, I guess it would have been.
Yeah, because I think 80 hit the street or something. They were saying in America, whatever.
Yeah. So what we almost need to do is we almost need to have a. I mean, there's ways of doing the logic, right?
So you could have an invisible sprite that does what we do and then just move to it. That would be probably the most straightforward way to do it.
Okay. Right. So I'd add a sprite.
Right. And you can maybe make it like a single pixel that's like maybe the same color as the dragon.
Or can I just make it invisible?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think if the hide turns off. I guess it doesn't turn off the position.
It doesn't. No.
So yeah, and then we would make that, put a forever loop on that,
Okay.
and then that would be the thing that we point at and move toward the player.
All right. So
in our motion, we would get the point toward player, or adventurer is what we called them.
oh, okay.
And then we would just like move 10 steps and then throw a little weight at the end. And then, yeah, something like that. And then on the dragon, we would have the dragon go to the sprite. So there's a one with a drop down right under that on the palette. So go to with a drop down.
Yeah, and that's just sprite too. All right.
Right. So I think that might give us the effect we want. I'm not sure. I want to see how that behaves.
Yeah, it won't work.
Why is that?
Because this needs to have all the same logic that Dragon has in it. So we need to copy this over there.
Right.
Copy this over there, and they have to have the exact same information in here. So then we have to add the variables for the current room.
Because it's also doing everything, yeah.
So that'll be the same. So then this would actually need to happen inside of here. Let me get rid of this. Right. So we basically we do the same thing twice. Yeah.
Well,
there's a much easier way to do this.
Yeah, we could probably smooth it out, but that's the shortest route, like to just drop some stuff. But yeah, we could probably like figure it out better.
Yeah, because it's to do the math is not that difficult. There might even be an easier way in Snap to do it. I'll have to take a look. I feel like there is. I feel like I saw something at one point that was like, oh, you can actually just get that information.
So it's slow because maybe that wait's too long or the steps are too short.
Yeah, but at least it's working.
But it's doing it.
Oh, and it reset.
Yep. So we could go back and refactor that if you like, but I'm used to kind of trying to conceptualize stuff quick for kids.
Yeah.
Because they don't like to sit there quietly and wait for you to figure out the algorithmic approach necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's there. So I'm gonna.
And yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, that might be a little too fast.
Yeah. Maybe make the steps less. Make it like 8 steps.
Well, what if I? Yeah, because I like the smaller steps. Maybe I can make this like that. I can do a 5, so it'll be half that. That's a little bit closer to.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not hard, but at the same time, you can't wait forever.
Yeah, maybe I should make this 5.
That's going to be slow. I think. Maybe not. It depends. Our figures are pretty small, so.
It's a little jerky.
It is a little. Is the player jerky? Because it's hard for me to see through the screen share exactly.
Yeah.
So it's slowing it down a little bit. So that point and move might not be great.
What if we do? Is it the point and move you think that's slow? Let's try taking this off of there.
The iffy part.
Yeah. I want to see something. You're not going to see the dragon move. Oh yeah. So this is. So that just the point and move was actually slow. So this was actually the piece that was causing it to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
That makes sense. You know what? Try popping that weight off altogether. Because that might block the whole thing.
The weight's not supposed to. So we'll need to make this bigger then. No, smaller.
Yeah, so it
Just-
doesn't catch you. So you're
yeah.
still moving faster than it.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to be able to
Hopefully.
tell.
That makes it worse.
That's crazy.
So the weight was improving it.
The weight was so the fact that the weight was so short was actually part of the problem, not the fact that there was the weight. I did not expect that. I was thinking that would have been fine because I've seen lots of stuff that it talks about. Maybe not. Maybe that was the thing, right? So maybe let's try doing this and seeing what that looks like. All right, so that keeps the performance of that moving. Let's see
Okay.
but I don't have it following anymore. So let's. Oh, what if we did?
I have read about people saying that the forever loop block is kind of crappy anyway. That like if you're going to have it long running, it's better to put, even if you have like a running variable like a global, that the repeat until works better.
But repeat until drops out. So the code execute stops. So the forever loop has to be there to get it to start back up again. But if to do this, what we could actually do is we could say we could have this broadcast a message and say, green dragon move. And then over here we could just have
Right, so it's not testing it at all.
yeah. So then this isn't even doing anything.
Yeah, so it takes one of those loops out of there.
Oh, expected list, but got Boolean.
Huh?
I saw something say.
Well, you're good, but he's glitchy.
Well, I think it's just that's the speed at which it's going. And
Yeah, so we can adjust that out, but you're moving at a good pace.
yeah, I get like little weird little hiccups.
Some of that snap, man.
Yeah.
I've had the exact same code run differently, just at different times of the day.
Yeah. I hear you. So it's jerky because of the half a second wait. The half a second wait is causing it to. That's 500 milliseconds each time it moves.
Right, and that's perceivable.
It is very perceivable. I wonder if we do. Because 0.1, I think is pretty good. Let's try that from. I mean, at least it keeps it moving. That seems a little fast. Maybe like 17. That's not as bad.
No. It would be nice to be able to smooth it out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can. I'll tell you that. I think we can. I don't think I could do it in 8 minutes, but I've done the because we already have. So here's the benefit, right? So just to kind of walk you through what I'm thinking, is on our adventure, we already have.
You're on it.
What's that?
You were on the adventure.
I was on the sprite originally. So on the adventure, we actually have the adventure X and Y. So we have the location of our sprite. So because
Right.
we have that, we can. There's um, it's a relatively straightforward, like what's the diff for X and Y, and we can just set a speed that we can then how much we want to change it by to move that X and Y in that direction.
Is that like a mod operation kind of?
Um, well, well, you know what it is? It's almost like that tweening that we were doing on in uh in Phaser, right? So
Mm.
the idea is we're just going to say we're going to change X by a certain amount to get closer to the X that's there. We're going to change Y by the same amount to get the Y there. The thing is what we want to do is we want to know what. So they call it a vector. They want to see. We want to know what that vector is to go there, so we know how much X and Y should change to keep a consistent speed, and so we
Hmm.
can define that speed, and that way we can have that forever loop going, and it'll just be dropping in that changes over time. Um, I am surprised though that I think it must be this point towards must just be super inefficient because that's what this does. That
Yeah,
point towards does the same thing.
yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We're just using blocks to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Hmm.
Do you know if when a received message comes in whether um it uh if it receives another one, could you have two things processing in there?
I don't know. It seems like I don't know how the threading works in
Yeah.
these block languages because sometimes it feels like the whole thing's running on one thread, and that you can literally block the whole program with like one script in the wrong place. Um, and there are definitely parts of it that work that way, but then there's other stuff that feels like it's popping at the same time, like it's an asynchronous operation. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
for sure.
so if it's running as JavaScript, JavaScript is kind of built asynchronously, right? But in reality, it's time sharing, what they call it. So they basically just cut up each process and they just give a little bit of time to each of the different things that are running, and so
Hmm.
it's not truly asynchronous in the sense that it's actually going to multi-thread it and it's going to drop it across multiple cores on your processor and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, but there are definitely um,
Things that are blocking it. But that's what happens in
yeah.
Java, and that's what happens in JavaScript too. It's like JavaScript itself will just all of a sudden find a spot I can't get past here. Um, but I'm thinking that we can figure out what the change in X and Y needs to be pretty easily. I think the hard part is that there is a radians calculation that has to be done, um, and then that defines what your change is going to be. So um,
Yeah, so
I
it's a
can't.
little hard.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not super straightforward. I've done the calculations before, but I in here it's going to be kind of slow to get it out there.
Yeah, and I mean, and what we've done is working. So I mean, for kids to be able to kind of go and build this adventure game, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
wondering.
a way.
Yeah, see, error expecting list but getting boolean.
And where's that coming off of? The walls?
Yeah.
When I
Oh
received. Uh, did we pull that out?
no, we don't have a room 0. Like the room data, there shouldn't be anything that has a costume 0. Yeah, see, nothing has a costume 0 because the in the walls all of the costumes are named.
Unnumbered. Yeah.
Yeah, starting with 1. Um,
So
I almost
just
want to.
pull that top block off.
I don't.
How did it even?
I'm trying to figure out how I caused that how that popped up anyways. Expected Boolean.
I don't know.
Maybe the room change was happening faster than this getting created.
Maybe, yeah, because we were sitting like right on the edge. Maybe it was.
I do like the fact that we got the sword. We can actually go and
Oh yeah,
he should be dead.
yeah. That's working pretty good.
Neat.
Yeah. All right, make sure you save. This is a snap.
I did actually save it once already a little bit ago. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think that was pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah. We made some progress. We got the dragon in there. It is working, regardless of it being a little bit less smooth than we would like. But maybe we'll go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good stuff though. All right.
I think we've got something getting there, man. It's surprising how difficult this game is to make in general. I mean, it's probably hard to make anyways, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, the moving through different screens and stuff and keeping track of what's in there is no joke, even in block code.
yep.
And especially without having like a database or anything that we can really work with. Like everything has to be done in the code.
Yeah, and their data structures are weird to set up and everything like that. So it's, we can't like name all the properties. But honestly, when he was working on the Atari, it was the exact same thing. I mean, he was dealing with memory addresses and like having to block off that section and know that this is what the size of that memory was and getting the data out of it. So it's a very similar problems, very similar cases.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty good though. So yeah, we made some good progress, and I guess we'll keep it going next week.
Yeah, we'll keep it going next week. All right. Well, everybody have a good weekend, and we will see you doing this again on Wednesday. But we'll be doing something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, something a little different.
Yep.
All right. I guess that's it. I'll see you later, everybody.